Well, good morning. My name's Stephen. Thanks for joining us and joining our YouTube. This information is for our wonderful clients that help do the energy evaluations. Those people want to understand a bit more about Windows. There are government grants out there for people who are upgrading their Windows, and that's what we're going to talk a bit about today. But we're going to have a bigger conversation around Windows and doors and make sure everybody understands the reason behind them. So I've come to a house here today where we're going to look at different choices on how do you upgrade Windows and why would we upgrade Windows in a home. So this house we are today is a 1990 home, so you can see where there's a lot of windows, lots of big windows in this home, and it is time to think about when your home's getting older to think about upgrading different windows. So we're going to go around and have a walk through the house, but at the same time we're going to have a big conversation around the government grants. We're going to have a conversation about, sorry, let's get into the home first, about the government grants, about reasons for upgrading Windows and different choices that you have. So now that we've got into the house, and if you have a look around, I'm just going to do a quick spin, you'll notice that there's lots and lots and lots of windows. Okay, this house actually has 37 windows in it. It's 1990, fairly typical for the era, but there's one area in particular I want to sort of take you to, and that's the living room area. And you'll notice that behind me, you'll see that there's some really big windows, a very big window behind me here. That used to be a very cold and uncomfortable area. And then the other area I want to touch on is this area here of the home, which is I call it the turret. If you have a look at all of these windows, this is true both on this level and upstairs, but there are lots and lots of windows in the home. So again, 1990, the windows that were in this home were some Gino windows with the swiggle bar, which had failed. So one, they were as ugly as anything because you had the moisture going between the windows. And secondly, they were really uncomfortable. So this area here we are, which is in the kitchen area, was so cold and uncomfortable you really couldn't enjoy the space. We had the same thing happening when we went to the master bedroom. Again, you'll see the same sort of configuration. Let's head quickly upstairs. So why would somebody think about changing windows in a house? One, I had windows that had, let's say, failed. The swiggle bar had failed, got moisture between the windows. And for that reason, it was, they were really ugly. But the other one was, again, let's have a look quickly at the windows on this area. Look at the amount of windows. So you can only imagine how cold and uncomfortable this area was. We upgraded the ceiling insulation, all of that, but we still had an issue with comfort. So why do we replace windows? Firstly, comfort. In my case, energy efficiency, or say comfort, was probably the driving factor for me to upgrade my windows. That's one of the main reasons I would do windows. Other reasons, aesthetics, makes windows look nicer, better from a resale value point of view. And then obviously there's energy efficiency as well. So windows are more energy efficient. There's lots of reasons to choose different types of windows or different types of glazing. So some of the factors that you need to consider, one is what we call the U value, which is ultimately the insulation value of the window. And you have to hit certain targets to be able to qualify for the government grants. That's the Greener Homes program. So click the link at the end of this video. There are lots of information, energyexperts.ca, on what the grants are, and we're going to discuss those briefly today. So look at ER number, that's the energy rating number, is another one, which is an overall performance of the window over a heating season. Does it lose or gain more energy? So you have to look at that as well. You've got other factors as well. There's different coatings like low E argon, also low E coatings. Argon, krypton is another gas. What does the argon actually do? It slows down this transfer of energy from inside to outside. So it really does help the window to perform better. So there's a gas that goes between the two panes of glass. It's typically going to be argon gas. The newer, more high performance windows don't use air anymore. It's argon. Krypton is another one if it's a narrow space window. So typically a 1/4 inch spacing window would use a krypton gas. You've got your low E or low emissivity coating, and that coating is a coating on the glass, and there's lots of selections. You've got to think about which way do the windows face, the performance of the window. So you've got for north facing, south facing. You don't want to overheat your building either. So then you've got another one called visible transmittance. How much natural light is actually going to get in through that window, and what does it look like? So that's your visible transmittance number. Have that conversation with your window guy, making sure that you get some good visible transmittance. And the other one is called solar heat gain coefficient. That's the ability of the window to let energy in. It's between 0 and 1. You want to be able to let that energy in, particularly here in Canada, where we do have a colder climate. We want that energy in, but we need to provide some shading. So a good solar heat gain coefficient is really, really important so that we are able to let the energy in, particularly in the winter months when the sun is low in the sky. You get some good shading, or say deciduous trees that can give you the shading in the summer months, but allow the sun in the winter months is another consideration. So we've said change windows, environmental, better from the environment. Change windows because it's going to make your house a lot more comfortable. It's going to reduce the sound coming in from the outside. You're going to reduce condensation on your windows as well. You're going to have a better house to sell. So there's some of the main reasons to think about upgrading your windows. So what the government has done is they have also come out with a government grant that will help pay some of the additional costs. They're not going to pay for all the window costs. But if you're buying a window and you have a U value that is 1.22 watts per square meter per degree Kelvin or better, you can get $125 per window. And that's, when I say per window, we're talking a rough opening. So each one of those holes behind me is a rough opening. So remember, it's $125 per rough opening if your window is 1.22 U value or better. Or you could look at it as an ER number, and the ER number has to be better than 34, my apologies. 34 or above gives you an ER number. If it's better than that, you get 125 per window. If you want to go to the higher performance window, which is what I would recommend, you need to have a U value of 1.05 or better, or a U value of 40 or better. And there is $250 per window. If you're doing doors, you can also do an Energy Star rated doors. All the windows must be Energy Star rated. Please remember that all windows and doors must be Energy Star rated to qualify for the government grants, and they are per rough opening. On the door side, if you have a U value for the door of, again, 1.22 or better, then it would qualify, or an ER number of 34 or better, then you would qualify. So make sure you're talking to your window company, making sure the window they're installing does meet those criteria. They must be on a list. You can find them if you go to our website, energyexperts.ca. You can find our link to the government grant program, and you can understand what all of the different options are. But all the windows that are to qualify a grant, it must be on the list, and it must meet these criteria. So giving you lots of reasons to think about changing windows. There are a few other things I want to touch on in a few moments, but make sure you get your energy assessment done before you do the window upgrade. That is absolutely critical. The government grant program, the Greener Home program, does require an energy assessment in advance and an energy assessment afterwards. So go to energyexperts.ca and you can find us there, and you can book your assessment through energyexperts.ca, and that's through the VT group. We'll talk about the different companies in a bit. So what have I done on this house? So this is why I sort of decided we should talk about this house. I've gone for triple low E argon windows on this home. It changed everything about the home. The furnace doesn't run as often on a short cycling. It's way more comfortable. I've got a 2-stage furnace in this house. I don't get the condensation. I used to get so much ice buildup on my windows. I've spoken in some of my other videos about making sure that the humidistat is correctly controlled. You're controlling the humidity based on outside temperature. Again, that's Ecobee tied to your humidifier, which is then tied to outdoor reset. So it's an ambient reset humidistat, and change the humidity accordingly. But that paired with triple pane windows, well installed, made sure they're airtight and sealed. That's where you use the blower door. Make sure your contractor's doing a really good job to draft proof those windows. So look at all the benefits that you get by upgrading windows. Comfort, resale, aesthetics, less ice on the windows or less condensation on those really, really cold days. So think about upgrading your windows. Hopefully this helps you make some decisions. Don't forget that there's some rules that NRCan has. This is very important. Please don't ignore what I'm just about to say. There's 3 ways you can prove you've met those criteria of those windows. 1, leave the label on the window. Don't take the label off the window. Leave it on until the advisor has come to the home. Sometimes people don't like that because they want to take it off the window and makes things look a little bit better. Sure, I do understand that. But in that case, you must take a photograph of each window as it's installed and a photograph of the label on that window for every window that was replaced. So again, as a homeowner, you're allowed to do this. As a contractor, you can do this. Again, let's go through that one more time. If you want to take the labels off, you must have a photograph of this label plus a photograph of the window with the label on per window that's been replaced, and that is sufficient way to prove that you've met the criteria. Obviously, as long as they met those U values and ER numbers. Please consult the NRCan guidelines. Go to energyexperts.ca, look for the tables, look for the links to the Greener Homes program, and you can make sure you've done that. There is an alternative way and a third way, but that is on your invoice from the window company, the NRCan reference number must be listed on the actual invoice that window meets the NRCan, and that proves it's on the list. So windows must be on the list. They must meet those criteria. There's no ifs or buts. And if you do that, then you would be able to qualify for those grants. So you're getting lots of reasons to upgrade windows. As I said, I've done triple low ER on here. I guess the other thing before I close off on this one is to talk about is that if you're going to spend any money on windows, why not go the best you can? You're not going to do them again in a hurry. You want to make sure that you've dealt with that sound, the comfort, the moisture. The whole home is just so much better because you've done it. Once you've spent the money, you've already spent most of it by doing the windows. So go for the best you can right from the beginning is my recommendation. Again, let's just look at this living room here. You can see this large window. The comfort levels that have been improved by doing the glazing or the change outs on these windows is absolutely fabulous. I don't get the moisture. It's a much better house and much more comfortable. And oh, by the way, I can see through them. We're not with the condensation. So thanks for watching my video. Again, please make sure you go to energyexperts.ca. My name is Stephen. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you've had an assessment done. Don't forget to get your follow-up done when you've done all the upgrades you want to do. You're going to see improvements in both air leakage. You can see improvements in so many respects. If you haven't done an assessment, you're thinking about doing windows, go to energyexperts.ca. You can look to that's the part of the VT group, and the VT group consists of 3 different companies. VerdaTech, which is an energy consulting company, Acacia Engineering, which is a mechanical engineering company that helps with energy consulting. We also do residential energy assessments there as well. And the third one is Qualistat. So Qualistat is a building envelope company. There's a lot of great information on that website. Please go and look at theirs. Subscribe to Qualistat as well, where we deal with attic rain, we deal with moisture, we deal with helping homeowners operate their homes better, but mostly on the problem side. Lots on the new home and existing home. So again, thank you for watching. My name's Stephen. Please subscribe, watch our videos, and hopefully this was useful. Energy Experts, that's plural, .ca is probably the best way to reach us. And thank you for watching.